And good morning, everyone. I'm from China, from Chinese Academy of Sciences. I'm working in the Institute of Sociology. And I'm glad to come here and have a communication with everybody. And I want to learn more about the law and the politicals and the sociologists from you all. And this time, my topic is the implement of migrant workers working return after the implement of labor contract law. And in China, some people know who is migrant workers, and some people didn't know who is migrant workers. And in China, we have a very serious system named the hook system. Hook register identification system divided all these people into two parts. One part is agricultural hook identity population, and one part is no agricultural identity register population. So in planning period, in planning economy period, people lived in countryside. All of them lived there permanent, lived the countryside. And from the urban area, the no agricultural identification people lived in urban area for permanent. And they forbidden the farmers moved to the cities to find their job position in labor market. Actually, in planning period of the economy, we have no market. All of the worker will be given by the government. So in that period, after the marketization, the farmers, some of the farmers moved to the cities and found their job position in the labor market. They named the migrant workers. But all of them are internal migrants, not international migrants. The labor law was released in 1994, and it was implemented in the beginning of the next year, in 1995. But in that time also, China wasn't a completed market economy society, so the labor law couldn't guarantee migrant workers' employment rights and the interests better. So in that period, the migrant workers in urban area were relatively less. And from the here we can find in the year of 1995, all of this floating population and the migrant workers just 50 million or so in urban area. And after that, because of the urbanization speed up, so more and more migrant workers moved to the cities, found their job position. And in this July, all of the migrants are 247 million in China. And the migrant workers surpass 176 million in July of this year. So it's a very big population in urban area, this kind of the workers. And because of no better protection measures, so migrant workers in the cities have to enjoy lower working payment on the one hand, and on the other hand, they have to enjoy longer working time, and it caused somewhat harm to their physical and mental health. So some trouble will be produced in the society. There were many labor collective disputes because they have not something resolve their problem between the boss and the migrant workers. And the social conflict produced by migrant workers too, it affected the social stability. So Chinese government and all of Chinese top politicians think they should adjust this kind of situation. And here is some trouble made by migrant workers, and the Schneider factor is a foreign invested factor in China. And here is the Foxconn. Foxconn is a very big country, factor in China. Your often was made in this kind of factor. The people have got a strike, and they want to resolve their problem. In order to protect the migrant workers' rights, Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China released and implemented the labor contract law. Actually, it was released in the year of 2007, and it was implemented in the beginning of the year of 2008. And after the implementation of the labor contract law, migrant workers' labor environment was gradually improved in past few years. Even in China, the GDP getting down because of, by the hit of international finance crisis. In the year, from this year, the GDP increased very fast, and in the year of 2008, financial crisis hit China bitterly, and the GDP growth dropped. And in this year, it drops too. The situation is better. So, first half year of this year, GDP in China increased just 7.6%. And in the second session, it's just 7.5% or so. So it's very lowest in China in recent years. But the situation to migrant workers is getting better because of the protection of labor contract law, and by the transfer of the migrant workers' remitters, cash income of rural residents in rural area increased more higher than the urban counterpart. So from here we can find that in urban area, the per capita disposable income just increased by only 6.5, but to the rural areas counterpart, it increased 9.2% also. So it surpassed the urban area residents. So it's good. And to the personal migrants, what is the situation? Our data set to the analysis give introduction about the past few years changing. In order to monitor the change of migrant workers working return in the cities, our case, Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, united some government department to do a series of nationwide random survey, and we want to use this data to monitor the working returns changing trends, and we want to check whether or not the labor law, the labor contract law protect migrant workers better or not. So from here we can find that this is our sample site. Because most of the migrants came from west part and the central part of China, and in east part we can find the move from west to east, especially in Yangtze River Delta area and in Pearl River Delta area. It's very dense. Because here in China is a developed area, and most of the central part of west part are developing area. So they move from this place to east, to the coast part of China. So this is sample structure. From the year of 2010, we conducted the survey, and all of the migrants is this kind of the movement. And urban to urban migrants in here, and rural to urban migrants here. But in rural to urban migrants, we divided this kind of the population out because if they are hired migrants. So we will do the analysis of on our employee situation, because some of them are self-employment, so it's no workers. We just want to monitor this kind of people situation. From here, it's a chance. Even in the year 2008, Chinese GDP dropped fast, but their payment per hour from here to the male workers, migrant workers, increased very fast. And to the female part of this kind of workers increased fast too. From the comparison between these groups, we can find that the low human capital workers, their per hour income increased more fast than this one of the migrant workers. So why? Because if in the beginning, this part of the workers, their income is very lower. So from the protection, their income increased fast. To the female, their income increased more fast than male counterpart. So the female was protected more better by the labor contract loan, and we can check another table. In China, the migrant workers work longer than the European countries. So from here, working hours per week from the year 2010, we find it's very, very higher. But after the implementation of the labor contract loan, it decreased fast. But after this year, the amount is very stable because of the need overtime paying to increase their monthly wage. So this kind of workers, they like to do the overtime work, and they want to make much money for their family members, and they want to better their life in the cities. So the working time is still longer to low human capital workers. But to this kind of migrant workers, because of the protection of the labor contract loan, their working time increased fast. So it can be accepted by this kind of working hours per week. And there's a monthly income. From here we can find to the low human capital parts, their monthly income renminbi yuan increased fast, and very fast. I think in this part, you know, they have some difference. The income disparity is still exists because of the human capital isn't the same thing. So they increased fast, but the small the income disparity in past few years. And participation rates of endowed insurers, the patient participation rate, we can find to this kind of population, they increased dramatically. But to the low human capital part of the migrant workers, just a few of them participate in cities of their endowed insurers. Why? Because some of them think they want to go back to their hometown to maintain their life. They just in the cities, they want to make money, make their living, and they want to go back to their home eventually. So they didn't like to participate the urban areas endowed insurance system. So, and we can find this is the medical insurance. It is the same thing. To high human capital part, most of them like to participate in the framework, but low capital, you know, it's very low 1%. And you want to take cash. Low human capital group didn't like to sign labor contract with their boss. So sometimes the law is the law. The people didn't know the law. They cannot use the law to protect themselves. So if they have some dispute with their boss, they want to get their relatives, their friends, or they want to find their villagers to support them. If they get some 10 persons or 20 persons to find their law and did some dispute, maybe the law will accept their suggestions. So the conflict will be easily resolved by their pressure group. And for this kind of workers, we find that few of them in the rate of no sign labor contract. So the low human capital parts is very different with the higher human capital workers here. And in Chinese government and to the legislators, or especially to the top legislators, they like let the boss and their employee sign open-end contract. But in reality, we find that the fixed-term labor contract was much more common in all of this working group. We can find, especially in the 2 years college and above, most of them like to sign a fixed-term labor contract. Because if most of the migrant workers, they don't like living in the cities, because cities, the price of the house is much more higher, and the living cost is much more higher. So they just make living, just make money in the urban area. They want to take the money, go back to their home to enjoy their aging life. So this kind of, we can find in the year of 2010 and in the year of 2030, it is the same structure. But we have still improvement trends. And by the protection of labor contract law, the dispute is decreased dramatically in past few years. From the year of 2008, we can find that the collective labor dispute cases is much more higher in all our country. And by the protection of the labor contract law, it decreased dramatically. In last year, they just this one is smaller and smaller. And the amount of collective labor disputed persons in all of the disputed cases, we can find that it decreased more fast. And in the year 2008, it's much more higher. And in last year, it decreased so very small in here. And to the average persons of collective labor dispute case, it still have 24 persons also. Why is it? If your disputer group is much more smaller, you have no power. Only you find much more persons support you, the boss will accept more your suggestions. So they need to find a bigger group to do their disputers with the boss, or spend to some low human capital workers. And the payment dispute rate of collective labor dispute cases is still very stable because some of them not sign their labor contract law in the labor market. For some babysitter and housekeeper or some part-time job station workers. So they have some dispute rate, and in the collective labor dispute cases is much more stable. Here is my conclusion. The amount of workers working in return is improved by the labor contract law in past few years. And, but there are many migrant workers worked in the informal labor market, so the rate of no-sign labor contract is still higher, especially to the low human capital migrant workers. And low-income capital market workers are still needed to be protected because of their weak group in the labor market. So this is my presentation, and thank you very much. Thank you.